Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Draft League Week 3 action. You guys have already seen the draft between these two players, those two players being ThisGuyMuks on the red team and Demond, which I assume is Diamond thrice, but that is Dazey, the captain of the pink team. But like I said, as a refresher, if you want to see the draft, how we got here, there is a link to that in the description, as well as a link to my Discord server where you can see all the matches as they happen. If you want the matches roll, check out the replays from all the matches that are not on YouTube, and of course, enjoy my trivia bot with literally over 4,000 questions these days. Lots and lots of variety. But that aside, let's get to the match. It is the individual draft format, so it is best of 3. Here's game 1. ThisGuyMuks, like I said, red team on the bottom, and Diamond thrice. It's Dazey, captain of the pink team, on the top. Both comfortable with their lead in Medicham and Arcanine respectively. The Intimidate does matter in this matchup, and after trying to substitute, hopefully on a switch, which doesn't work out, he's going to get out of the way, and he's going to immediately get unlucky, double unlucky, in fact, getting his Ludicolo burnt, and then crit with absolutely nothing to show for it, so very poor start for ThisGuyMuks. Tries to make something happen with Machamp here. Rock Slide, unfortunately, into Swampert doesn't do it. Substitute doesn't fall for it, gets popped with EQ. He does manage to get Gengar in for free on Earthquake, though, so maybe that can make something happen. Ice Punch, huh? Yeah, Arcanine is actually pretty reasonable against Gengar. Between its HP and its special defense, it has high natural bulk. You can't Will-O-Wisp it. It resists Ice Punch. Your best bet is Thunderbolt, which, in a sandless game, not that great. And know what else wasn't that great? That Explosion. That was after an Intimidate, too, so it did only 37%, but leaves it low enough for Medicham to get the revenge kill at least, so Mux gets himself on the board. And he does get another Brick Break off here, but another 10% burn. That Arcanine is just haxing the crap out of Mux. And he's got Extreme Speed just to finish the job, just to be safe. So pretty good lead here. Jesus Christ, what a hacks fest. This Arcanine is getting everything. That's 2 crits and 2 burns from the Arcanine. This is unreal. That's a 3rd crit. This is insane. A 4th crit. Is this real life? Are you kidding? That's insanity. How many flamethrowers? Wow. Wow. He flamethrowers 8 times and 4 of them are crits. I don't know what the odds are of that, but they are not good. God, in 8 flamethrowers, he gets 4 crits and 2 burns. What are you going to do? And Dazey doesn't even show half his team, but, like, what are you going to do? And Mux's seat there. His team seemed too vulnerable to Arcanine to begin with. Seemed really vulnerable to it. In fact, he had 0 fire resistance, and he had multiple fire weaknesses, so he probably wasn't great into Arcanine to begin with. And then my, oh my, when Arcanine runs that good, what are you going to do? Answer is nothing. The answer is get bulldozed over, which is what happens here. And game 1 to Dazey in a one-sided beatdown. Checking real quick the mons that he had on this team that we never did see. He also had Starmie, Heracross, and Raikou. So those will be ineligible to appear in future games. But nevertheless, 1-0 to Dazey. So here's game 2, but I will note coming into this series that these guys, like I said, have had pretty opposite tournaments, I think. I believe that Mr. ThisGuyMuks is 0-2, and Dazey is 2-0, so obviously they're both going to try to get wins here for different reasons. It would be an additional point for Dazey if he were to win, thanks to our win streak rule, whereas Mux is just trying to avoid going 0-3 if he can help it. Here's game 2. Mux is still on the bottom, and Dazey, Diamond thrice, still on the top. Hariyama deterred by Quillfish, who goes Spike, 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 and Spike. Aww. That one was a protect. Missed the 3rd layer. So finally, we've got 3 layers versus 2. Here comes Gyarados for what I can't imagine is all that great of an Intimidate, but at least it prevents Baton Pass from being better, I guess. Dragon dances up into the Scarm, taunts it to not get roared away, but it obviously won't stop Drill Peck. It was, in fact, a roar attempt, but it does have Drill Peck in what seems to be a sandless game. Don't actually remember if T-Tar was allowed in this draft or not. I assume it got banned, but check it out in the description. Drill Peck there on Zapdos, not all that exciting, but gonna protect. In doing so, Zapdos gets back up to a hundo. Here comes Umbreon, BP, Big Angry Bear. We know that Umbreon is toxic, but that's not really a mon that you want to toxic, since it does, of course, have guts. Focus Punch there, 65% hitting the weakness. However, Wish Protect combo, gonna get him back up to be maybe out of range of another Focus Punch. Gonna go for it anyway, and wisely, Dazey out of the way to a fighting resist. That being the previously unrevealed Moltres, Flamethrower comes down, as does Return. Ursaring getting the better end of it. See if Moltres has Morning Sun. It does. Kind of a janky recover. I mean, it functions the same as recover in a sandless game, but it has far less PP, so not as sustainable long term. Yeah. Ooh, there's a burn there too, so that's going to trigger Guts and make the Moltres super dead, as if it weren't already after the bulk up, but at least the burn is going to take the Ursaring with him once it gets hit by anything. Protect works as well, that'll just kill him with the burn, fair enough. Alrighty, Angry Bear down, leaves us in a 5-5. Quillfish returns, neither player has shown a Rapid Spinner, and it's going to boom into a Protect. A Protect that he knew was there, by the way, so maybe questionable, but I guess he thought it was going to be a Wish turn. Double-edged crit helps a bit, though he does take that much more recoil. Gyarados reappears, and it gets roared out. Last poke Jolteon, however, obviously good against the Skarmory. Hairy Mama with the return, that also gets roared out. And out comes Slowbro, previously unrevealed. And there is still another unrevealed poke in the back for Dazey. But in the meantime, Slowbro not interested in staying in against Jolteon for obvious reasons. And Umbreon is going to attempt to weather the storm, but I don't know, I don't know that it survives this Thunderbolt based on the damage roll of the previous one. And the answer is it does not. And with Umbreon going down, all of a sudden I think that Jolteon might be a pretty big threat to Dazey. We don't know his last poke, but I see 3 electric weaknesses on that team with no real resistance in sight unless you count the Umbreon. Taunt to prevent Roar. He obliges with Drill Peck. And here comes Zapdos into the Drill Peck. Yeah, same problem. What switches into Thunderbolt here? You can protect, that's fine, but plenty more Thunderbolts in the tank. Hariyama ain't it. Down that goes. Do we have an answer? Sure, I guess that kind of, sort of, technically resists electric, but doesn't resist that, or a Drill Peck, but yeah, HP Ice will certainly suffice. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but there we go. It lands Leech Seed, but like, who cares? Zapdos can easily switch out here, or just ignore the Leech Seed and quick Thunderbolt anyway. Scar Malone, I feel, is probably not going to be a winner against Jolteon and Zap, but it could be. Okay, so we're going to let it play out, because it could be. Okay, it's not. And therefore, we are going to go to Game 3. We saw all the pokes in this regard, so nothing to discuss as far as what is not allowed for Game 3. They should both have a pretty good idea as to what is coming. And now we just need to see it in action. But I would note that the early pick Snorlax for Dazey is still unused. However, so is the Weezing, a damn good lax counter from ThisGuyMuks. Little foreshadowing, if you will. Okay, Game 3. Winner take all. This guy Mucks on the bottom, and one more time, Diamond thrice. That is Dazey on the top. Again, they both stay in with their leads, and Kangaskhan is going to return away a substitute made by the Espeon. In comes Milo, and that has got to be Choice Banded doing that amount of damage. And apparently that's a good call. Is there no normal resist here for Dazey? Knock one on the board for Kangaskhan early on. Kingdra dies without doing a damn thing. And Dazey feels he has no choice but to go blow for blow, but it ain't working. 2 kills already from the Kangaskhan, and Dazey with nothing to show for it. Flamethrower into Salamence, resisted. Brick Break, not resisted. Crunch comes back, decent chunk, but the faster Mon is the Ment, so Dazey super duper on the back foot in this game. Manages to get Milo in after taking that return on a Dragon Claw, so it should get Recover off and kind of sort of stabilize, but boy is Dazey behind in the early goings of this one. And that Surf crucially comes up short, so it is going to be a third victim of the CB Kangaskhan. Apparently a Mon that Dazey does not have a damn answer for. Finally it drops, but damage super duper done. It killed 3 pokes, and yeah, it set up this sequence where the Ments killed another poke. We've got ourselves a 5-on-2 situation. And here's Lax trying to save the day for Dazey, which it's going to need to. And it does begin to curse up. But as we know, ThisGuyMuks drafted a Weezing and knows that the Lax is coming. Therefore, he's super definitely, absolutely going to have brought that Weezing and not just punt the match. Right, guys? Right, guys? And even Dazey comments in the battle chat, that is not Weezing, because it's so obvious that you definitely bring the Weezing. Right, guys? Doing all sorts of things like Substitute and Regice and not Weezing. But he's definitely got it in the back, and he's waiting for the right time. Right, guys? Wouldn't have brought some random filler Gloomon that's just like only okay versus something that's really important and would save him here like the Weezing. Right, guys? For those of you unable to pick up on the subtlety and nuance of my speech here, he might not actually have the Weezing in the back, which would be a crazy throw. I cannot imagine, when you look at the 9 pokes that you have available, what 6 you decide are more important and better than the Weezing. I know that one of them that I wouldn't pick over the Weezing in general, and certainly when I know that the Lax is coming, is this Quagsire. But this is where we are. So he's going to try to curse up with him. And that's one way to go. You can get into the curse pissing contest and try to get there, I guess. You know, if Quagsire didn't blow, then it might not blow. But what could help is Weezing. Gonna try to freeze him. And when it doesn't work, he's going to take a 47% return. Going to try to freeze him again. And when it doesn't work, he's now going to take a 49% return. Okay, one more chance. Not going to try to freeze him. We're going to go for rest. I don't know how that solves the problem, because you're going to be dead before you wake up. What am I missing? Okay, return, yes. And now the Quagsire is dead. Okay. But the last poke, Weezing, can come in and click Haze. Right? We're going to go to Aerodactyl. Not Weezing. But the last poke, surely, is Weezing. Right? Aerodactyl with pressure, trying to PP stall him out, which, I mean, maybe that's the best bet at this point. the two attacks that it happens to have, Brick Break and Return, both have a pretty good amount of base PP, so a little bit more obnoxious than it needs to be, but what used to be a 5-2 overwhelming lead has devolved into this. So I guess Mux doesn't have that many choices. And shockingly, Miltank doesn't save him here. So we're down to only the Aerodactyl for Mux. And that is just a concession. But, man, I can't quite put my finger on it. I feel... I don't remember the draft well enough. I feel like there was a Pokemon that Mux drafted and hadn't used yet that would have been good in this situation, that would have helped against the Lax. I can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, the Quagsire was probably optimal. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Kinda sort of a throw. Probably wouldn't be happy if I was one of Mux's teammates. You bring the Weezing here, you win the match. What are we doing, folks? It's a strange world, but Mux is going to go down to 0-3, and Dazey is going to not only be 3-0, but he's going to pick up an additional point for his team for his performance. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was painful for me to watch. Where's the fucking Weezing? I will see you guys in the next video.